Hi guys, so it's Cruising the World with Jackie. It's been a while, sorry about that, life gets in the way. So I wanted to come on today and talk about three weird things that happened on our trip on Meraviglia from New York. Number one, it was on all the Facebook pages about this. I'm not gonna, I'm being very careful because there was some really nasty stuff said on Facebook pages about these groups. Um, I did see a Facebook page which makes me think it might be happening again. But let me tell you what happened. So there were tour groups on MSC. They were not American, which is not uncommon on MSC, that there are more other countries than the US. But these had actual tour guides, and they did not appear to speak any English at all. They had their little tour guides with their little flags. That's not what was weird. Although I've never seen that before either, to tell you the truth. What was weird is um, the majority of these people were hoarding. And they were taking plates, bowls full of fruit and dumping them in bags, like a recycle bag from the grocery store, one that's, like 10 by 12 or whatever. Not the cheap plastic ones, but the ones you actually buy to recycle, you know, um, and filling them up. They were filling up fruit, um, hard boiled eggs, and tea. Now, it was annoying. Um, and basically, when they put out the fruit, the non-sliced like apples and oranges and bananas, it'd be gone in a few minutes. It was annoying. Um, and I hate to say it, but at one point I didn't feel good, and they put out green apples, and I took two. Now I only knew that I wanted one then, but I was afraid that when I wanted the other one, because my stomach was a little upset and I wanted it, that it probably wouldn't be there. So I grabbed two. I also grabbed my husband some tea when they put it out, when they refreshed it, because I knew it wouldn't be there when he wanted it at night. So we laughed because we thought, well, you can't go through customs with fruit. That's like a big no no. What are they doing this for? Their tour guides should explain that. Whatever. Um, but we'll catch up on that on the way after I get to number three. Okay, the second weird thing was the weather was atrocious. Now, yes, we were going out of New York in December, but that wasn't the problem. The whole East Coast was messed up. Um, Cruises out of Florida were messed up. We were messed up. In fact, the cruise that left after us, this is December now, instead of going to Florida and the Bahamas, they went north to Boston. So that was extremely weird. I don't know what I would have done then. I didn't know. We didn't pack. Nobody packs. If you're packed for Florida and Bahamas, you're not packing for Boston and Canada in December. So that was weird. Okay. The third was probably the weirdest thing that happened. The weather was really, really bad down there in the Bahamas. So we wound up going, it was supposed to go to Port Canaveral, Nassau, and their private island, and then back to New York. But what wound up happening was we did go to Nassau, and I've already posted that. Um, it was a little rainy on and off, but it wasn't so bad. Um, and then we were supposed to do that, but we wound up going to Miami, which is a problem because we went to Nassau. So Miami was the first port back into the US. So we had to go through customs in Miami. So everybody had to get off the boat, off the ship, sorry, And we decided to take a lift over to Bayside, which is that, uh, it's like has shops and restaurants and stuff, and spent a few hours. It was raining on and off. But we're glad we did, because when we came back like 3 hours later, the people were just now getting back on the ship. They got off and just waited in the terminal. That happens. You don't do that because it takes several hours. And even if you have to Uber or Lyft or taxi, or there were buses, but the buses were $10 a piece, um, that would have taken us over to Bayside. And the Uber was like $9 for both of us, so it was a better deal. And we didn't have to deal with the bus and all that. So, but here comes back to the number one issue. Those people that were hoarding, when we got back to New York, we didn't go through customs. So I have to assume that they took all their fruit and eggs and tea wherever they were going. I don't know if they were going back home. They couldn't have left the country with all that, but whatever hotel or next place they were going, they took all that. So I guess the joke was on us because we thought, why are they doing that? And they got away with it. So, all right. So the last thing is, would I do Meraviglia or any cruise out of New York again in December? So it was cold the first day and a half, which we assumed, right? The seas were a little rough, but there was a storm, all up and down. Everybody was impacted by it. So I don't necessarily think that that's going to happen every time, right? What I would say, though, is if this is your only vacation for the year, right? You only have so much time or so much money that you could spend, and you want to get the most out of it. I would skip December out of New York. I would still go out in New York because it's absolutely gorgeous and nothing beats that sail away. But probably skip December, to avoid, so you don't have a day and a half of cold and then possibly storms like we had. It is the first time in probably 20, 25 cruises that I took bonine, and I had that green apple. I actually ate 2 of them eventually. So, there's my 2 cents on it. 3 fun things that happened. What's the weirdest things that have happened to you guys? Have you ever had to go back into customs before before getting off the ship, like we did in Miami, instead of going through New York? When we got off of New York, we just went straight through. So, all right. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, please.